Alrighty, here we go. Rebecca Hawkins is going to be taking on Bandit Keith. And I did say this in the other two videos, but if I do sound a little bit different, it is because I'm using a regular handheld mic, the same vocal mic that's used for a lot of live band performances, the Shure SM58. Great microphone, workhorse, almost indestructible. Could run over it with a truck, it would probably still work. As we see, paper beats rock, and Rebecca elects to go first. So Rebecca's still unbeaten. Bandit Keith will be a tough opponent though. He does have a lot of hard-hitting cards, as that's a good hand. Rebecca straight up. Spirit of the Harp to defense mode. There's Hysteric Fairy as well. Dark Core is available, as well as card destruction as well. And Becca is emptying her hand, possibly getting ready to use card destruction as well. Alright, Bandit Keith goes with a face down spell or trap and summons the Oni Tank T34. A personal favourite of mine. I always really liked Oni Tank T34. As Spirit of the Harp is attacked. Isn't that funny? You got this big, scary, strong looking tank and it can't get over a fairy with a harp. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a fun game. There's Skalengal. As Hysteric Fairy is summoned, so 1400 plays 1800, so... Oh, Trap Hole, good play by Keith. Becca loses Hysteric Fairy. She wouldn't have wanted to lose him so early. Now, she does still have Dark Core on the field. She has got a card destruction in hand as well. As Bandit Keith draws to maintain a hand of 5. And Keith sets a monster in defense. Leaves Oni Tank T34 as it is. 2 Skalengals in Becca's hand now. And she plays 1 face down in defense. She could have used card destruction and just used their effects early, but I guess maintain card destruction in your hand. Maybe wait for an opportune moment, as Oni Tank T34 is tributed for Pendulum Machine. 1700. It's only a slight increase in monster though. As Pendulum Machine goes for the face down Skalengal, so Becca will draw a card, and it's Polymerization. Useful card for her to get those sandwiches out. And Dark Hole, good card. Becca's starting to stock up on her trump cards here, especially with how she's used Dark Hole in the past. Alright, Skalengal to defense. So Dark Core and D-Spell still available to her as well. I mean, I guess she hasn't used Dark Core because she doesn't want to get rid of any of those cards in her hand. As Pendulum Machine attacks another Skalengal and another Polymerization is pulled. Now, if Becca loses Spirit of the Harp, she might be in a bit of trouble. There's Performance of Sword. No, but Becca is content to just pass her turn for the time being. As Bandit Keith draws another. He goes with a face down spell or trap. And, oh, here we go. Tribute for Keith, and it's 2. Will it be a... No, it's a Zoa. I was hoping Barrel Dragon. However, Becca now in trouble. She will have to... Well, she does have a Dark Hole. Alright, Zoa wipes out Spirit of the Harp, and Becca will take 1750 points of damage. So Keith now in lead on life points, but Becca with that Dark Hole ready. She does have counterplay. And, oh my goodness, it's a 3rd Polymerization. Becca plays Dark Hole, gets rid of Zoa and Pendulum Machine. She sets down Polymerization. And, oh, she plays it. So 2 Polymerization have just gone to the graveyard. That's very risky. Oh, Keith just lost Limiter removal as well. There's Metal Zoa there. I think the other one was a Blast Juggler. And unbelievably, Rebecca has drawn Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest after the use of that card destruction. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, the heart of the cards is absolutely on her side. And it's the only Sandwich she's going to be able to play because all of her polymerization now are in the graveyard. So down comes Sandwich. She does have a Bubonic Vermin as well. But... And, oh, look at that. Morphing Jar. She'll be able to refresh her hand. And she is well in the lead now. Unless Keith can block, which he doesn't. 5,300 for Keith. 6,250 for Becca. And she is starting to get ahead in this one. Once she gets this Sandwich on the field and she starts to get these cards going, she's got a Dark Core on the field as well. She can be very difficult to stop. As there is another Sangan. And now Morphing Jar is played face down. Alright, Disc Magician is destroyed, and Keith on the back foot. He's going to run out of monsters pretty soon. Alright, Keith draws 4 cards in hand and desperately needs some counterplay. And he's activated Stop Defense. Keith didn't really have anything in his hand either. Maybe Keith used Stop Defense because he would have seen Morphing Jar go to Becca's hand. He wouldn't have known it was a face down card, but he took the chance. He's got it to attack mode, and it's just played Robotic Knight. So Becca will lose a few points here, 900 to be exact. She's down to 5,350. Keith at 5,300. So they're both almost equal on life points, but Becca now, as you see, does have a monster reborn. There's another Witch of the Black Forest. Geez, maybe she should have played 2 polymerizations down. Alright, Witch of the Black Forest is summoned. And there we now see Dark Core. Bubonic Vermin is thrown. And Robotic Knight is banished from the game. Supply Squad has just been activated. Down goes Negate Attack. She's also got a Monster Reborn as well. And there is a Zoa in the graveyard as well, which Keith played earlier. 26 and 21 is 47, and 1,100 would make that past 5,300. So unless Keith can block, he's lost. At 5,300 life points remaining, Keith has lost. That is incredible counterplay. Becca, she's too good. She is just too good. 2,600 off Keith, and Becca living up to her reputation when she was introduced into the anime, and she was a duelist prodigy who was knocking off top duelists. This is the sort of deck I imagine that her having. We didn't see much of a deck in her match with Yugi. She did have a Cannon Soldier. Unfortunately, I can't put Cannon Soldier in her deck because it's a banned card, and can't play multiplayer with banned cards in this game. You can play against the AI with banned cards, which does make sense, but... And... Ooh, that's a bit of a rough hand, but she does have a Trap Hole. So Keith is first, and he goes with a face-down defense. Alright, there's Skelengle. So Trap Hole goes down, and no, she goes with Bubonic Vermin. Good for the Shadow Ghoul strategy. Those Bubonic Vermins. Tough to get rid of. Stack up of monsters in the graveyard. And what has Keith got here? He goes with a face-down defense. And to his end phase. Alright, Becca has just drawn Waboku, which is another good card. And she'll be able to put Skelengle down. She'll be able to put Skelengle face down, and that will give her another opportunity to draw another card as well. Right, D-Spell and Dark Core both in hand as well. She had those 2 cards in the last game. Has drawn them again in this one. Keith going for a tribute now. And, oh, Machine King. I love Machine King. Great card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses as well. A game which I have been meaning to do another run on. As Machine King has gone after Bubonic Vermin. Did Becca not play Trap Hole? She had the opportunity to, and she's refused it. Well, she does have a Dark Core in her hand as well. So she may be going for that instead. And leaving a Trap Hole on the field to lure Keith into a false sense of security. He will think that there is no Trap Hole on the field now. There's a polymerization. And there it is, Dark Core. Throws away D-Spell and targets Machine King. Does Keith? No, he doesn't have a Magic Jammer, unfortunately, and Keith has just lost a Machine King. It was going to be his heavy hitter, and if it got through, Becca may have been in a bit of trouble, but she's managed to get it off the field. Keith goes with another face-down defense, so he's hesitant to attack so far in this one. Both players. Becca doesn't really have anything to attack with. There's a removed trap. And she's content to just sit and try and get some more cards built up to wipe out Bandit Keith, the Intercontinental Champion. Becca never had a championship accomplishment to her name, though. Was one ever mentioned? She had won tournament and had knocked off Top Duelist, but it didn't actually say a tournament name, so... Well, Keith's the Intercontinental Champion. Let's call Becca the US Champion, just to give that little nod to professional wrestling, WWE. We'll call Becca the United States Champion. She's going up against the Intercontinental Champion in a battle of Raw and SmackDown. And there is another Skalengal. Keith played Zoa in the last match. As I was busy talking about wrestling, and Trap Hole was activated, so Keith has lost all of his defense as well. It's possible that Keith is going to get attacked with 3 monsters here. And there's Witch of the Black Forest. Bubonic Vermin is also down as well, and Becca flips it up. She has this knack of finding a way of being able to attack with her weaker monsters as well. It's what's made her so good. So 2,900 all up, unless Keith can block. And it looks like he won't be able to, so he'll be down to 5,100. 3 monsters staring him down, only 2 cards in hand as well. And it would appear that his 2 face-down cards are of no help to him right now. Looking very dicey for Keith. Becca doesn't have much in her hand though. If Keith draws something good, let's see, 3 cards in hand now. And oh, he's been saving that. It didn't come from the far left. So Bandit Keith has been saving that. As Witch of the Black Forest's effect will still activate. And she goes with Hysteric Fairy. Some monsters starting to build up in her graveyard now too. If she draws Shadow Ghoul, it'll be quite chunky. As Ground Attacker Bugroth. That's another card I really like as well. With the brain in the cockpit there. But Ground Attacker Bugroth comes to the field. A surface battle robot that was once used for sea warfare. Okay, turn change back to Becca. Ring of Magnetism is drawn. Hysteric Fairy is played. And at 1,800... And Keith flips a Trap Hole. Wow. That's interesting. Keith must have had that Trap Hole on the field for a while as well. I didn't think that was a Trap Hole. He didn't play it earlier. He's been biding his time. He had that Dark Hole, so he chose to wait. And Keith may have just gotten him back into this match. May have just gotten himself back in. 1,500 on the field, although he hasn't played any other monster. Becca now down to 5,000. Keith at 5,100. And we got a competitive match here. There's 7 tools of the Bandit. Becca does have a Skalengal. And she plays it down, face down defense. And turn change going back to Keith. To the battle phase, and Becca, no need to activate Waboku there. She's going to use the flip effect of Skalangle, which is going to give her it gives her another card out the deck, and it's negate attack. Becca has got an absolutely terrible hand. She'll draw one more card here, and it's Performance of Swords. She has got the Ritual in her hand, but with no monsters, she'll be able to protect herself with negate attack and also Waboku. So she's got 2 cards to draw at least before she'll start losing points. And there's Robotic Knight. Again, Robotic Knight is a very cool card as well. So possibly going for negate attack. Yeah, Becca, Waboku's better to use if you've got a monster on the field, if you're trying to get a tribute summon out as well. And there we see it. Negate attack is activated. Bandit Keith's battle phase is over. It would have been 3100 if Becca got hit by that, and she would have been in all sorts of trouble. Oh, there's card destruction. Becca has just drawn card destruction. Maybe should have played polymerization. Keith didn't lose much. Oh, she just drew another polymerization. She's done it again. I don't believe this. Rebecca has done it again. She has drawn a fissure. She's drawn Witch of the Black Forest and polymerization. How could you have given her a better hand to counteract what Keith... That is literally the perfect hand. I mean, you could, I guess, replace Fissure with Dark Hole, but that is unbelievable. She has drawn an absolute gem of a hand after using card destruction, threw a polymerization away, got another one back. Now there's a sandwich on the field at 2100. It is... The heart of the cards is an absolutely beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful thing. She can play a Morphing Jar if she wants it in the next turn. And that's what she'll do. Morphing Jar, again, when you use its effect right, it is one of the most broken cards in the game. Being able to refresh your hand from nothing is such a brutal effect. As Robotic Knight is destroyed, and Keith may be running out of options. He does have a few cards in hand, but Keith would have been feeling confident just 60 seconds ago, and is now staring down a 2100 attack. Only tank T-34 in attack mode. Alright, what's Keith cooking here? Metal Morph. That's interesting. Becca activates Waboku. Out of a precaution, maybe. What was Keith planning here? Oh, was he maybe planning a... Oh, right, of course. Sorry, I'm going mad. Metal Morph's effect. Of course, it takes half the original attack and puts it onto your monster. My bad, I completely forgot about Metal Morph's effect, ironically. That's right, it does take half of the opponent's attack, only on your battle phase, though. That's what Keith was going for. Becca played Waboku. And Bandit Keith's counterplay has come to an end. It would have been a great counterplay, and Sandwich would have been taken off the field. However, there's Trap Hole of Spikes. However, as we see in Becca's duels all the time, she is counterplayed right back. Keith's field is empty right now. And Keith is going to be left with 1,300 life points after all these attacks are done. No, 1,200. Well, any other duelist, Bandit Keith probably wins this match. The cards that he drew, and the way that he played them, there's Brave Scissor. The cards that Keith drew, and the way that he played them, if he played anyone else... Oh! Speak the devil, there is limiter removal, 2,500. And may be able to get rid of Sandwich. Well... It really is just a brutal game. Keith has done everything right. He has had so much counterplay. He has played everything perfect. And Becca has just had the perfect card at every given moment. Alright. Oh, okay. We'll get to see what Keith had in his hand. Morphing Jarry's flipped up. Oh. He had Barrel Dragon. Pendulum Machine. I think that first card might have been a Metal Zoa. So Keith had nothing in his hand to play. No, oh, was it Slot Machine? The Slot Machine was also in the graveyard. Barrel Dragon is brought back, and this is just nasty. This is just nasty. Becca has brought back Bandit Keith's Barrel Dragon and put it on the field, put it in front of him, and then destroyed it with a Dark Hole. And then played her Teddy. She's just played her Teddy to the field, and that's going to be the card to get rid of Bandit Keith's life points. Her Teddy, after destroying his Barrel Dragon in front of his eyes just for the hell of it. That is next level brutality. Becca picks up the win against Bandit Keith. This match is done. She is absolutely relentless. Her next match will be against Joey, which you think Becca should win. And then after that, it's just Pegasus and Yugi. I don't think anyone beats her. I think she may go 16-0. She's creating a streak like The Undertaker. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks for leaving all the comments as well. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, take care, farewell.